welcome to the call tonight. Great to see you all on here prioritizing your health. Rachel and I are so excited to share a revolutionary healing modality that we were introduced to 17 months ago now. So this little sticker has had an incredible effect on me, on my loved ones, my life as a coach, and the people that I have shared this with. So for those of you that don't know me, I am Beth Blackmore. I'm a health and empowerment coach. And I started getting really passionate about my health and wellness over 6 years ago when I woke up to my program mind and I started making substantial lifestyle changes, my food choices, my eating habits, and that resulted in a 60-pound weight loss. I ended up also leaving my government career in HR to pursue my passion in helping others with their health goals. And I consider myself a lifelong learner, being open to new information. And so about a year and a half ago, I started to learn, actually about 2 years ago now, I started to learn about the whole realm of quantum biology, circadian rhythm, harnessing the power of light. Thanks to my friend Rachel here, I started changing up my light environment, harnessing the power of the sun, waking up earlier, eating within an hour of waking, grounding in nature. So then when a good friend of mine reached out to me about a light patch, I was intrigued. I invited Rachel on a call last May, so May of 2024, and we were both blown away by what we saw, the science, the company Lifewave, and the life-changing testimonies. We pretty much signed up right away, and we did what any good daughter would do. We both patched our moms. So my mom, within a few days of her debilitating knee pain, she started experiencing relief. So she had had knee pain for years and was going to physiotherapy for, 3 times a week. That physiotherapist, within that first week, noticed less inflammation, more mobility, and she wondered what she was doing differently, what vitamins and supplements she was taking. And the only thing that my mom had changed was this light patch that I put on her. But it didn't stop there. She also started sleeping better. She had more energy. She got back to the things that she loves doing, like walking and gardening and swimming. And for me, the first thing I noticed was that I was finally able to sleep through the night, having vivid dreams, which is unheard of for me. I also used to have this really uncomfortable tightness, this compression issue in my back that I had had for years, and that eased up within a week of patching. I no longer experience that at all. I no longer go to my chiropractor every 3 weeks for that adjustment. My energy, my mental clarity, my focus have also improved, and I have definitely noticed this sense of calm. But honestly, folks, what lights me up is that I know that the best is yet to come. My body is healing and repairing and age reversing. And there's also a really exciting financial opportunity with the trajectory of this company. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. And we are going to hear some powerful testimonials tonight to kick things off. But just before we do that, I'd love to invite my good friend and co-host Rachel Maurice to introduce herself and share her inspiring story with you.
Thanks, Beth, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Because time is our most precious asset, I deeply value the fact that you are here spending it with us. So as Beth mentioned, my name is Rachel Maurice, and I worked as an anesthesiologist in Canada for close to 20 years. I left in 2021 when I decided that I wanted to be the one making decisions over my own health and my family's health. And in that time, I didn't think that I'd be gone long. I started doing a lot of research into much of what was confusing to me, what I had been taught over the last 30 years previously in medicine. And in that ended up uncovering some information that I had not been taught at all in medicine. Yet all the science was there. It was just, you had to really dig for it. And what I mean by that is I discovered this whole realm, a new paradigm of health called quantum biology, which includes circadian biology. And it really crumbled the entire foundation of everything I had understood of how the body works, but in a good way, because I started to learn that we could implement specific and very simple lifestyle practices that can actually reverse symptoms and allow the body, give the body the proper signals to allow healing, which is what we were all designed and beautifully made for, which is not something, again, I was taught in conventional medicine. And all of the upstream signals for every single thing that takes place in the body comes from light. And again, that is not how the modern medical model operates. And I started changing lots of things, diving into how light signals different physiologic processes, hormones, metabolism, and how it affects mitochondria. And in that, started becoming versed in phototherapy, and then ended up coming across these patches about a year prior to getting involved, but I did not investigate because of just the nature of how humans work and the person that introduced them to me. And so a year later, my mom's health was starting to decline to the point where her doctors were talking about heart surgery. And having spent 25 years in the operating room and seen just about every complication under the sun, I did not want my mom or any loved one to have surgery if it was not necessary. And then this phototherapy patch came back around again, and Beth and I started discussing it, and she got me on the call, as she mentioned earlier, with Diane Hunt, who was a cardiac surgical nurse for 20 years. And so one of my mom's biggest issues was heart failure. And Diane not only shared stories, but investigations such as echocardiograms and ECGs. And I knew that her background was similar enough to mine that we operated under the same understanding and experience. And so what she had shared was not anything that I had ever seen in my career, and neither in her career, of people who had had heart failure after 8, 10, 12 months of using these patches no longer being in heart failure. Again, that's not something I'd ever seen without some kind of artificial device being implanted into one's body. So it was an absolute no-brainer to get started. I was shocked because I prepared my mom to have patience, because the body takes time to heal, despite what we have all been conditioned and programmed to think with pharmaceuticals and surgeries with instant results. And to my surprise, within 2 weeks, my mom went from having to stop every 2 to 3 steps to catch her breath to being able to walk with me for 20 to 30 minutes at a time on an incline while talking to me at the same time. And then within 3 weeks, her doctor had to lower her thyroid medication that she had been on for over 30 years. So lots of other things unfolded: her energy, her stamina, her vibrancy, to the point where her friends were noticing and just wanting to do whatever she was doing. But I will, for time's sake, keep it at that, and we can get on with the presentation, and I can share more afterwards as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rachel. I'd love to call on Melissa. We're going to start off with some powerful testimonials tonight. If you can unmute, there you are. Perfect. Thanks, Melissa.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Both of you. Okay, so my name is Melissa Murray, and I am a eye gas and septic shock survivor. I'm 2 years post sepsis, so just a little bit over 2 years. July was when I got sick in 2023. And I have a long list, but last time I presented, I went off the cuff, and I after I got off the call, I went, oh my gosh, and there's this symptom that's gone now, and this symptom that's gone now. So I wrote everything down, so hopefully I could, but I'm going to be quick. So with my post sepsis, I've had, extreme fatigue, migraines, nausea every single day. I almost lost my leg from the septic shock and the infection. So I had to have surgery at the time to save my leg and my life. So I haven't been able to, walk that great on it, drive. I was just in chronic pain. And it's like I started patching. I think I'm trying to think how many weeks, but it's at least 2 months, maybe 2.5 months. And now I'm even able to, like, so the pain is gone, and I can drive, 2-3 hours a day if I need to, like, no issues, because it was my driving leg. I'm able to sleep like 5 to 6 hours. I was having, PTSD nightmares from my, all of my stuff that I went through. And I've just, like, in the last week, I've noticed, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not having these night terrors anymore. So I'm able to sleep like 5-6 hours without having to get up to go to the washroom, which I don't think I've done ever in my life. So it's, that is miraculous in itself. And just, yeah, my stamina, I would have to have my leg up, multiple times a day. I've got like a special wedge for it. I don't even need to do that anymore. Like I'm sitting with my feet flat right now, talking to you guys. Like it's truly a miracle. I joked last time I was on the call, my mom saw me the first weekend, and I had driven 3 hours, and normally I'd have to go to bed, and I was very raring to go, and like, hey, what can I help with cooking? And my mom was like, is there like speed in these patches? And I just laughed and said, no, like there's nothing like that. It's non-transdermal. And I mean, it's changed my life completely. So, I mean, like I've got my life back and then some, because I always had migraines my entire life, and I don't have them at all. I mean, it's wild. And yeah, so X39 is my new best friend. And sorry, my camera's shaking. My dog's she wants to play with me right now. And normally I wouldn't even have the energy to do this and speak to you guys. Like before this, I thought, how am I going to live my life? And so it truly gave me my life back. So yeah, I could probably go on, like Rachel was saying, I could probably just continue to go on and on. Oh, my vocal cords. I've always loved to sing, and I mean, fun fact, I sang the Blue Jay game. I did the anthems when I was 10 years old with my choir. So, I mean, I was always singing throughout my entire life, and there's my dog, and I had lost, the ability to sing from, being intubated and stuff like that. So I noticed within the first week I was singing in the car, and I was like, oh my God, I can sing again. Like what's going on here? Like, this is crazy. So, and that wasn't even something I had heard that other people had happened to them. So it was just, yeah, I'm becoming, I feel like a younger version of what I was even before I got sick. And I was, a very healthy, active 10K a day, plant-based, whole food, plant-based eater. So, I was healthy going into this. And I just thought I'm never going to feel good again. And then, a very good friend of mine who I've known since I was 12, Chris, he said to me, you should try this patch. And I was just like, I don't know about that. Like, I'm kind of scared. And it took me about 4 months of him just very kindly, chatting with me about it. And I am so glad I did, because my life has completely changed. So yeah, I have nothing but amazing things to say about. Oh, my neck pains from my car accident from a year before I got sick. I was going to I needed physio all the time, like tens of thousands of dollars of my own money. Physio. I was still having to go for my leg, for my neck. I haven't gone to physio at all since I started Pat. Nothing. Zero. I mean, that's crazy, right? And I was on hydromorphine for, the pain in my leg. I mean, and it was not managing it, but this one patch, X39 patch, I put it on for 12 hours a day and I'm good. So it's
So
crazy.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
amazing, Melissa. And the
Yeah.
fact that it has worked for you so quickly too, because that doesn't always happen, right? We want to be
No, it
realistic with
doesn't.
these. There are people that have one patch wonders, we call them. And we know a few of them, but just the fact that this has worked so quickly for you, so happy for you. Thanks,
Amazing.
Melissa,
Yeah.
for sharing.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Nikki, I'd love for you to unmute yourself and share your powerful testimonial tonight.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be back from Anaheim, although we had an absolutely amazing time. But I guess that really begs to tell why I was there because of this patch. I mean, 9 weeks ago, 5 years ago, I would have probably never been able to do that trip. I would not have lasted from, early hours of the morning till late at night without being exhausted. But I was diagnosed with palindromic rheumatism by two different rheumatologists. It's basically, they don't know what to call it, so they called it that. But it traveled throughout my body for years where I could hardly get out of bed. It would be in my shoulders, my neck, my feet, all over my body. I had chronic fatigue. I had heartburn. I had migraines. I had endometriosis and had a hysterectomy. Yeah, it was a rough go. And then Rachel introduced me to the patches, which I will forever be thankful for. I always say this, but I'm so grateful. 9 weeks ago, and it started so quickly. Within 3 days, I was sleeping better and my heartburn was completely gone. It was just weird. I wasn't even looking for that help. And within a week, my pain and inflammation had gone down enough that I was no longer struggling to get out of bed. I can eat gluten now without terrible bloating. Not that I eat a lot of it, but my anxiety, my fight or flight's completely gone. I could probably stand in front of a crowd of 10,000 people and it would not bother me. Not that I'm going to. But it's just completely changed my life, and I will forever be grateful for this wondrous little thing that we put on in the morning, take it off at night. My daughter is on it as well. She started it this fall when she started college. She's been on ADHD medication since she was 7. Sorry, it's been 11 years. She wanted to try the patch, and it took her a week, and now she's off of her Concerta ADHD meds. Her mind is very clear. She just keeps telling me she's so zen. It's been it's been wondrous for our family, and I cannot say enough about it. So yeah, it's given me my life back and given my daughter a different perspective on life. So
Love it. Thanks so much for sharing, Nikki. I
you're so
love hearing everything that it's doing for you and for your family. And yeah, with just this little patch, and it is just the X39 patch, right, that is changing people's lives. So we're going to get into why this is having such a profound effect on people. So I'm going to share my screen. And if you can just give me a thumbs up that you can see my screen, all good. Activate healing. All right, perfect. So we're going to dive into how this all works. And it's really through healing your body, using your own body's light. And I do want to say that at the outset, this disclaimer that Lifewave products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or medical condition. This patch is not a medical device that requires FDA to approve it. It's considered a general wellness product by the FDA. Okay, so this is super fascinating. I certainly didn't know this when I first started patching, that our stem cells, they actually go dormant. So by the age of 30, healthy stem cells decrease by 60%. And then by the age of 60 years old, those healthy stem cells decrease by 90%. And unfortunately, not only is this natural aging process contributing to our decline in health, but unfortunately, this world that we live in, the modern age of convenience, of consumerism, we are inundated with toxins in our environment, chemicals in the air, in the water, in the food, and the man-made synthetic radiation that's everywhere. All of this leads to cellular dysfunction. And our bodies require healthy, active stem cells to heal and repair the body. The fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. Stem cells are the undifferentiated cells that become any cell in our body. So your heart cells, your lung cells, your liver cells, your hair cells. We've heard of stem cell therapy before, but can we trust where the stem cells come from, where they are sourced from? Stem cell treatment is known to be pricey. It's not accessible or available oftentimes. It can have a huge risk to it. It's invasive. And it's actually only about 50% effective because they stay local to the injection site. And so this is why regenerating your own stem cells within you is so exciting, and why this phototherapy patch is such a powerful option. So yes, I said phototherapy, healing with light. Phototherapy seems to becoming more mainstream with red light panels, red light therapy, but phototherapy is nothing new. It's actually something that all living beings depend on. The sun is nature's original phototherapy. It signals our bodies to make essential vitamin D, signaling other vital processes in the body. But photobiomodulation is a type of light therapy, phototherapy, that uses specific wavelengths of light to stimulate cells that promote the healing process, boosts energy production, it reduces inflammation. It improves blood flow. It helps with tissue repair. And what's exciting is that it is accessible. It's non-invasive. It's affordable and risk-free. So now, what if I told you that these little light patches use this specific type of light therapy to increase a naturally occurring peptide within the body? Well, cue the X39. Through the process of this photobiomodulation, this little light patch increases the production of human, so our own GHKCU copper peptide, and this is known as the holy grail of age reversal. And this is not synthetic peptides, nothing that you are injecting. These are not exogenous, they are your own, naturally occurring. So just like with stem cells, GHKCU copper peptide also decreases with age. So this unique copper peptide was isolated back in 1973 by Dr. Lauren Picard. He was a PhD and researcher. And so there is 50 years of research to back this up. And you can do your own research for yourself. You can find out all of the studies, the research about GHKCU on pubmed.gov, which is accessible. It's an online repository of scientific research. And so some of the incredible benefits of GHKCU include boosting collagen and elastin production. Again, this is our own body producing it. It supports tissue repair and regeneration. It's known to have multiple anti-inflammatory, anti-anxiety, anti-pain, and even anti-cancer properties. GHKCU is also known to reset over 4,000 genes in our genome. So basically resetting DNA to a younger, healthier state. But what is truly exciting is that GHKCU reactivates our own dormant stem cells. And it is going to do this through the power of this patch. So the X39 from Lifewave is a wearable phototherapy patch. It's about the size of a quarter. The patch consists of organic materials, amino acids, sugars, water, oxygen, and salt that form this crystal lattice structure that reflects back these wavelengths of light. And so what I love about it and what really sold me on it is that there is nothing being absorbed into your skin. They are non-transdermal. They're latex free. They don't contain any drugs or chemicals or stimulants. So they're safe to use without interfering with any medications that you might be on. So there are no contraindications because nothing is being absorbed into your body. It's a completely different mechanism using your body's own light. So the patented product uses this process of photobiomodulation. So it's activated again by your body's own infrared heat. We are all light beings. We all emit this low level infrared light. We are all warm to the touch, right? You can see that heat coming off us wearing those night vision goggles. So you want to think of this little patch as a mirror, reflecting specific light frequencies back into the body, signaling these biological changes at the cellular level, including the upregulating of the GHKCU copper peptide and reactivating your own dormant stem cells. So now that you know how it works, I'm going to turn the mic over to Rachel to walk us through the incredible benefits of the X39.
Thanks, Beth. So I'm going to just start by re-emphasizing this whole idea of light, because I think that's one thing that is hard for some people to integrate or really understand. And I know it's already been said, but repetition is the holy grail of learning and understanding. So phototherapy really, although we don't think about it, it's like a fish swimming in water. It doesn't think about the water. That's just like us living under light. We don't realize that us moving indoors, we have gotten away from being under natural light. But we do know that when we go outside, we're told to get a certain amount of ultraviolet light so that our bodies can make vitamin D, which is so incredibly important for so many processes in the body. But it's not the sun that's making the vitamin D. It's the sun that is signaling through the frequencies, through the rays of light, information to tell our body, our skin cells to convert cholesterol through a simple process, not a simple process, but a process to make vitamin D. Same with a tan. We have the signals, the information coming from the sun to tell our cells, specific cells in the skin, to make melanin, which is that pigment that gives us a tan. So there's information in the frequencies of light that signal our body and our cells to do specific things. And in this case, increase that GHKCU copper peptide. So these benefits we're talking about here are due to the increase in that copper peptide. So these are just some of the benefits: reducing inflammation and pain. And for those that are not aware, inflammation really is fundamental and pervasive throughout almost all chronic diseases. So while it might not be the root cause of it, it is there with just about everything. So being able to reduce inflammation can allow one to alleviate symptoms and even reverse or eliminate that named disease that you might have been given. And reducing pain as well. That's a really big one. And I know because one of the subspecialties in anesthesia was chronic pain, or is chronic pain. So there is a huge market because there are so many people walking around 30% walking around just with chronic back pain. And there are so many other complex pain syndromes. So alleviating pain can really allow one to get a lot of their quality of life back. Improves strength, stamina, and energy levels. And this isn't even just about people who have lost the strength, stamina, and energy, but it's for anyone who might be wanting to take their athletic performance to the next level. Even if you are not just the average person, but people who are performing and competing, like Olympic athletes and professional sports players, they're using them as well. Improving muscle and bone density, that is something that declines with age. And so that's a big one as we age. Improves mental clarity and reduces stress. And that can, again, really, the mental clarity thing, that was something that took a nosedive for me in 2020. I got sick and felt like My cognitive function really went to half mast, and that put me in a position where I felt like I wanted to isolate myself more. I didn't want to be around people and have to have conversations where I felt like I was not able to remember what I was wanting to say or articulate myself. So really that mental clarity is a big deal, because even when you don't have the physical capacity to do what you want to in life, the connections that we have with people is really what it boils down to at the end of the day. And so balancing hormones and easing anxiety is another one. I know hormones in my age group, so many women going through perimenopause and many menopause, even at younger ages than we really should be, because of such toxic load that we have in our environment. This can really help many people. I know it's helped a lot of my friends completely eliminate that, all those symptoms that go along with the perimenopause and menopause. Improve hair growth and skin appearance. This is something that we often attribute to cosmetic appearance, but it is because of an increase in collagen. And I just want to elaborate a little bit here, because collagen goes so much deeper than skin deep, and it is the most abundant protein in the body. It makes up 70% of the protein in the body, and it basically forms the infrastructure for all of the connective tissue and the fascia in our body, which boils down to our communication superhighway in the body. And what I mean by that is the way collagen is structured, it is in these triple helix formations. You might have heard of DNA being in a double helix, two fibrils wound around each other. Collagen is in a triple helix formation. And when it does that, it organizes water in the center of that. And the water in the body is very different from the water that we drink. And it separates, it's got a separation of charge like a battery, and that allows electrons to flow. And that is how light travels in the body. And so the connective tissue and the fascia is something that touches every single part of the body, between cells, but also within cells. So it really forms the communication superhighway. So it is so much more than just what we see on the outside. It's representative of what's going on the inside as well. It promotes cellular repair and wound healing, and improves sleep quality, which again, you've heard from Beth. It helped me. I tried absolutely everything, and it took a little longer for me. It took about 8 months, but I no longer would hear when my kids would come in and make a ton of noise. I'd sleep right through and wake up later on thinking nobody had come home, and panicked when my kids were in fact in their rooms. So yeah, it's a big deal. Sleeping is when all of the regeneration, well, 99% of the regeneration and repair takes place. So sleep quality is much more and should not be taken as lightly as it is often in our society. And so the long-term results with the X39, again, the GHKCU, the first few days, over 4,000 genes begin to reset to a younger state. So what does that mean? I know when I heard that the first time, I thought, well, what exactly does that mean? And one example that was given to me, which I think illustrates it really nicely, is, for example, when you have a professional photographer who is doing some photos, you've got the lighting, specific lighting in different parts of the room, and you have those umbrella things that shine the light in different places, reflect the light, and then you end up with this beautiful image. But as the lights and the different things get worn out and used, they start to break down. You might have brightness, too much bright light in one area, not enough in another, and there might be rips in that umbrella that allow light through, and then you don't get that beautiful image that you had before. But if you got all new equipment, just like if we regenerate our cells and back to a younger state, the way that they were operating when we were younger, you get that beautiful image back, and that is equivalent to getting your health back. And also one more thing, it's talking about over 4,000 genes. We only have about 20,000 genes in our genome, depending on the research that you read. And there is a lot of attention that's given to a chemical called resveratrol that's found in red wine. It's in supplements. You can go and buy it in your health food store in a bottle. And the attention given is because that resveratrol resets 2 genes in your genome. So this resets over 4,000 genes. That's a big deal. Within 6 weeks, the brain becomes balanced. So what does that mean? That means the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain are speaking to each other. We need connection and harmony and communication for our cells to express and communicate, to know what's going on. And that is how we express health. Within 3 months, collagen is increased. So I touched on that already. Within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. And that's not just the heart, it's the whole cardiovascular system. So that is bringing blood flow to all of the cells, oxygen, being able to make energy. So David Schmidt, I love his quote, "This is not anti-aging, it really is age reversal." And so how do we wear this? I love this. I love this slide because it is one of the most simple things. It's probably the most simple, healthy tool that we have in this modern world that doesn't take any time out of your day. You literally peel it, stick it on your body, wear it for 12 hours, take it off. At the end of 12 hours, you can then put it on your dog's collar or a little t-shirt, which is what I do with my dog, or put it in a plant. And we have a testimonial about that, which plants don't have placebo effect, right? Then you basically take it off after 12 hours, you put another one on the next day, and you continue to wear that. And the best question is, well, how long do we have to wear it for? And so one of the things that I share with people is, well, how long do you like to eat healthy for? How long do you like to go to the gym for? Do you stop when you get the body or the desired effect that you get? You're going to start to decline again. And it's much harder to get back your health or that body or your nutrition than just to maintain it. So really, it depends on your goal. The research shows that 97% of people see an effect by 90 days. So if you're going to give it a go, you really want to commit. You want to commit to a minimum of 90 days. But really what's recommended is a month for every decade that you've been alive on the planet. And that is just to reactivate your dormant stem cells. So that is not even necessarily all the healing that can happen by reactivating your dormant stem cells. That's just reactivating them. So if you're anything like me, I am all about prevention. It's much easier to prevent disease than it is to come back from struggling with all of the debilitating issues when it comes to diseases. So again, my view might be a little skewed. I spent 30 years in medicine, and I don't ever want to have to step foot in the hospital if I don't have to, or a doctor's office, or have any procedure or any medication. Sorry, I tend to get really passionate about that. But this is my go-to because there's no downside. There's no side effects. The only side effects are good ones. There's no time taken out of your day. There's no effort. There's nothing that requires any energy to do this. You literally stick the patch on, take it off after 12 hours. You can bathe with it, shower with it, go in the ocean, go in the lakes, go in the sauna, do your red light. It doesn't interfere with anything. You want to make sure that you drink plenty of water and electrolytes. So I alluded to that before with the collagen and how water is the means of communication for light in the body. This uses light, so you want to make sure you are hydrated. Just drinking water without electrolytes, you're basically irrigating your body and you're just going to flush it all down the toilet. The electrolytes help hold the water in the body, helps hold that negative charge, as well as retaining the minerals that are needed for all of the other enzymatic reactions that take place. And because this patch works through increasing a copper peptide, we have to make sure that we have the ingredients, including copper. Just like making a cake, you got to make sure you have all the ingredients to make the cake. We need that copper. And nowadays, we really have to focus and make a point of getting copper in our diet because our food is stripped of so many essential nutrients. But at the top of the list, I'm sure everyone's favorite is organ meats. If you can sneak them into your food somehow, I get my kids to take a desiccated organ meat supplement because they don't like any of the organ meats. But otherwise, seafood, oysters, again, I can't handle oysters, but they're an amazing food if you like them. Seafood, shellfish, and for those that don't eat any of those, avocado is rich in copper. Nuts, including cashews, sunflower seeds, and probably everyone's favorite, a little square of dark chocolate. Just a little square has enough copper for the day. And what to expect. Another interesting topic for me, because we've been so conditioned in society to have expectations of taking a pill, having a surgery, having things fixed overnight. And that's not the way the body works. Excuse me, not the way we were designed. We've been labeled, there are over 36,000 names of diseases in modern medicine, and it all boils down to cellular dysfunction and where the cells are not functional in the different organs. So really, we try to stay away from names and labels of diseases and really talk about the different systems where you're having problems, whether it's in the brain, whether it's with your vision, in your joints, your heart, but really writing out a wish list. And we like to think as human beings that we're figuring the body out, but I really don't. I think we've only scratched the surface, and the body has an intelligent design that I really don't think we're ever going to figure out, nor should we be really tampering with. But the body has its own method for healing. It knows exactly what's going on in your body. It knows exactly what needs healing and in what order. We are all different. We have come to this world with a different set of genetic instructions. We've been alive a different number of years. We've had different environments that we've grown up in with different toxic loads, different emotional traumas, different mental capacities and stresses. So we are all different, and we don't all heal in the same way either. Just like my mom's friend who saw her wanted to try them because he was 85, because he had these headaches that wouldn't go away. But the headaches were still there after 2 months, but he was no longer wearing his reading glasses. So his body said, no, we have to fix this first. So sometimes you might start using these patches because you want something specific eliminated, but your body's going to go to work where needed, and you might not even feel what's happening. There are many people, now 3 I can think of, who had kidney failure, had no clue. They didn't feel a thing for 6 months, 8 months, but because they were being monitored by a physician, at the end of the 6 months or 8 months, their lab work showed they were no longer in kidney failure. They did not feel anything. We've got a minimum of 100,000 reactions going on in our body in every cell, every second of the day. We don't feel it all. So just because you don't feel something doesn't mean it isn't working on something. And everyone is different where that's going to happen first. So if you're tired, that means that it's actually working, because just like a cell phone, although I don't like to compare our bodies to a cell phone, but when you've got a full battery, your cell phone, you can run any program, you can do anything, you can even do multiple programs or run multiple things on your phone. But as you start to drain that battery, it starts to shut certain things down. You go into low battery mode, suddenly you can't stream, your screen shuts off, you've got the lights dim, etc. It's the same with your body. When you don't have enough energy to run everything, it starts to shut certain things down. It starts to make you tired because it's telling you, you need to slow down. We need to use that energy for healing, because healing requires extra energy. You want to make sure you honor that fatigue, you get the extra sleep when healing takes place, and you want to make sure you practice deep breathing. Really, nasal breathing allows you to pull in the oxygen into the deeper parts of your lungs, and the oxygen ends up in the mitochondria where we make energy. So that is contributing to increasing energy production. And here we have some slides that can illustrate what has taken place. And in a short period of time, we can see on the left-hand side, that's over a span of 6 months. You can see that the hair growth has really increased significantly. And we have one person on our team whose son is in his 30s, and he had alopecia for 10 years, meaning it's an autoimmune disease, but absolutely zero hair, and tried many things and nothing worked. But when he tried the X39, within 6 days, he started to have some peach fuzz hair growth. And within 2.5 months, he had about 1/2 inch of hair growth, which is really outstanding in my opinion. And this image on the right, which gets me every time, because this is what we term scoliosis, a curvature of the spine. This was only 4 weeks of wearing the X39. Now, while there are other patches on there, namely Icewave, that is specifically for pain. It doesn't actually help with regeneration. That is specifically the X39. So you can see the spine has straightened out there. It's remarkable. And here on the left-hand side, we have an image. This is called vitiligo. It really, what it means is there are areas of depigmentation where there is a lack of melanin that causes that our skin to have that color. And it's actually also considered an autoimmune disease. And this lady tried absolutely everything, and she said nothing worked until she tried the X39. And you can see on the right-hand side, although the coloring looks slightly different, the important part of the image is the fact that the color on her back is uniform. There are no patchy areas where there's a loss of pigment. And on the right-hand side, we have, this is an image of a knee after a knee replacement and wearing the patch for 2 days from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. That is extremely rapid wound healing. I've seen thousands upon thousands of these. Orthopedics is a huge industry, especially in Canada on the West Coast. So joint replacements, this is incredibly fast wound healing. And here we have what's called a topography map, and it's a brain scan of a 77-year-old woman. And the important part to note is the image on the very left, she was not wearing the patches yet. And there's a lot of red there, and the red means inflammation. So there's a lot of inflammation in her brain. And then there's some dark blue, which means low activity. What we want is more of the light blue and green, because that means coherence, which means the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain are speaking to each other. And session 2, the one in the middle, is only 3 weeks of wearing the X39. You can see there's no more inflammation, there's no more red, there's more of the dark blue, but there's a lot more of the green and light blue, meaning coherence. Again, that is how we express health. On the right-hand side, that's only 6 weeks. And while some people might think 6 weeks is a long time, it really is not, because there's a lot of medications that doctors will say you got to wait 6 weeks or 8 weeks to see anything. This is 6 weeks after wearing the X39, no inflammation, and look at all that coherence, that light blue and that green. That is almost the entire brain is coherent. That's amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. So what we want to do is introduce you now to who is behind this incredible technology. So we absolutely love sharing the heart of Lifewave, the genius that David Schmidt is. David Schmidt is the CEO of this 20-year-old company, and he actually has over 200 patents to his name. He started working way back with the US government. He was actually part of the Navy SEAL survival program, where he was creating something that could keep the SEALs alert, mentally focused on missions that lasted 36 hours. And that's where the first patch of Lifewave was actually born. That was his first patent. Then David found himself at Stanford University. So through his networks, he was putting those original patches on the US Olympic swim team, and they ended up having tremendous success. They all set personal records, but this was 20 years ago. Then in 2008, David realized that the future of medicine was in stem cells. And that's when he began to really figure out a way that he could leverage the natural stem cells that are inside the human body. So after 10 years of research, $4.5 million by 2020, he had received a 20-year patent on the X39. And so the company went from this steady state $20 million company to closing out last year, 2024, over 600 million, a 3,000% growth rate in 4 years. There is nothing else like it on the market. And so Lifewave has been recognized for this massive growth by Direct Selling News with the Bravo Growth Award, which honors companies with the highest year-over-year revenue growth on the Global 100 list. So these are companies that are not only scaling their businesses, but setting new benchmarks for the entire industry. Lifewave has received the Bravo Growth Award for 2 years in a row. And so there really is nothing else like this in the market. This is a novel product. No one else has this, and no one can have this because we have this 20-year patent. You can read up on the 22-page patent, the 20-year patent. But this one paragraph really says it all. Elevates copper peptide, activates stem cells, improvements in strength, stamina, and pain relief. So the patent is on the structure, right? On that lattice structure, the material in the patch where the patch reflects the specific light frequencies back into the body. They had to prove that that works in order to get the patent. So clinical studies were done that shows significant increase in the production of the copper peptide GHKCU. It was measured through blood samples, urine analysis, other lab analysis. So I encourage you to check out the patent, the studies. You can dig in, do your own research. There's also great videos. And I just want to highlight this website in the bottom right corner. This is it, info.com is where you can find out all this information. So great website with videos explaining the technology, David Schmidt being interviewed, doctors being interviewed, also powerful testimonials, everything from neuropathy. There's a whole section on children. You can see here asthma improvements, sleep, dental improvements, the heart, weight loss. So you can go check those out. And there are a variety of different YouTube videos that you can browse through. So what we've introduced you tonight really goes far beyond the surface, because we know it's not just about less pain or more energy, but it's about what that healing allows you to do. It allows you to thrive with more confidence, more energy, feeling better from the inside out. And for some, it could also mean financial freedom with the momentum of this company. So just simply sharing, blessing your friends and family, right? You can offset the cost of your patches, maybe make another bill payment, or live a life with more ease, maybe even a life of abundance. This is the power of the patch. So let me show you how you can get started. Lifewave offers 3 options to enroll. These prices are in US dollars and for a month's worth of patches. So you get 30 patches in a sleeve. It's an envelope. So first you can enroll as a retail customer, paying full pop, retail price at $149. We see practitioners in the States set themselves up like this, or practitioners in their private clinics offering this to their patients. But of course, we want to promote getting set up with the wholesale pricing of $99. So then you have 2 options to set yourself up. You can sign up as a preferred customer, commit to a monthly subscription, or as a brand partner. And we typically recommend the brand partner option because not only can you take advantage of the wholesale price, but you can also secure a spot on the team and can leverage the incredible momentum of this company by building a business without additional cost, no overhead, just the cost of your patches. And so we often see that people begin to experience the success, they share the products, and they earn a commission. And sometimes they even end up building a full-time business. We have many people, including Rachel and I, that saw the opportunity, and we are building successful businesses. So signing up as a brand partner, there's no pressure to share or build a business, nor is there an additional investment, as I mentioned. You're just paying for the cost of your patches. And so there are 4 enrollment kits available to get you started. As you can see with these packages, the more you purchase upon signing, the better. The cost of the sleeves comes down considerably for your initial order. You can then upgrade anytime through those enrollment kits, and you're just paying the difference and receiving the difference in the number of sleeves. That way you can start sharing them with friends and family in your life, your aging parents, loan them out to people as they wait for their order. It's always fun to get people started right away. And having extra sleeves on hand is really going to set you up for success right out of the gate. So we do have a very attractive compensation plan. For those interested in sharing the product, it is a binary compensation plan where you're building 2 teams, a left team, a right team. We have just launched Comp Plan 2.0 enhancements. So the comp plan is even more generous and set up for the long game, the long term. And we are committed to helping you be successful and helping you to win here. Rachel and I just returned, and a couple others on the call, just returned from the Lifewave Corporate Convention, where we were recognized for achievements in the company. And we've done this all because we were coachable. We plugged into these incredible resources. And so we do have an incredible leadership team that you too can leverage. This company, again, is on this massive trajectory. And our team, the team that we are on, is the #1 team in the whole company. So it does have amazing leadership supports, training systems in place to grow your business. You do not need any prior experience in sales or network marketing required. It really is all about helping people through the freedom model. But we know that health is at the foundation of it all. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the call today and being open to learning about this unconventional healing modality. Please reach out to the person who invited you on this call, and they will guide you and set you up with the best pricing and package available for you. And I hope to see you all on the team soon. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.